Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. So we're looking at Floyd Mayweather. Now, Floyd Mayweather said a statement that was somewhat provocative, though it was true, which is that he claimed he was a better fighter than the great Muhammad Ali. Now, one of the reasons that Floyd gave for claiming that he was greater than Muhammad Ali, or better, should I say, was that Floyd Mayweather said that he went through 5 divisions dominating them, whereas Muhammad Ali was only in 1. Now, on the surface, I thought it was pretty fickle a reasoning until I actually put into perspective something very interesting. Floyd started off as a super featherweight, and if you think about it now, if professionally he starts off as a super featherweight, anyone who he's actually fighting who has started off at a higher weight class is actually naturally bigger than he is. From that angle, think of it as a blown up super featherweight fighting a super welterweight. The difference in weight is significant. Remember, as you move up in weight, guys are bigger, stronger. And so as a result of that, if you think about it, Floyd starting off as super featherweight, where he was the most effective, he had the highest knockout ratio at super featherweight, and he becomes less and less of a knockout artist as he moves up in weight, because Floyd basically begins his career at super featherweight. Now, when you put that into perspective and you look at the weight differences, Floyd versus whoever he's fighting, that's where it gets interesting. Now, we all know that the heavyweight division, there are sometimes huge weight disparities, and Muhammad Ali was not someone who was excluded from that. Muhammad Ali faced some fighters where there was huge weight disparities between himself and them. And we'll mention 3 of them who have the widest weight disparities that Muhammad Ali faced. However, through the majority of Muhammad Ali's career, if you were to pay attention to it, have a look at it, you would see that Muhammad Ali was mostly the heavier fighter in most of his matches. Okay? Some exceptions as we move down are Joe Bugner, Chuck Wepner, Alvin Blue Lewis, George Chuvalo. Okay? Now, we are interested in the fights where Muhammad Ali was hugely outweighed. An example of this is when he fought Buster Mathis. Okay? It's his 34th fight. And the other 2 we're actually going to be paying attention to are the fights where he faced Alex Mitef and Duke Sabedal. Okay? As you can see here, when he faced Duke Sabedal actually was heavier than him by 30.5 pounds. Okay? In the case of Alex Mitef outweighed him by 22 pounds. In the case of Buster Mathis, which is his 34th fight, Buster Mathis outweighed him by 29 pounds. Those are all huge differences in weight. Even though at the heavyweight division, guys that big generally was slow and sluggish, not like Vladimir Klitschko, who could carry the weight, or Anthony Joshua, or even Deontay Wilder. Now, those are huge weight disparities, and the reason we were able to just look at it from BoxRec is because in those days, which were way before the 1989s and onwards, you had same-day weigh-ins. Now, in Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s time, you didn't have same-day weigh-ins. You had the day before weigh-ins. As a result, we're going to have to go to basement gym boxing to get the actual weights of Floyd Mayweather. And if you were to pay attention to that, you would see that when Floyd Mayweather Jr. faced, for instance, Victor Ortiz in 2011, the weight disparity was pretty big. Ortiz was 14 pounds heavier than Floyd Mayweather. Now, it's not 29 pounds or 22 pounds like Muhammad Ali, or 30 pounds, right? 34.5 pounds. But then again, you have to look at the weight relative to where Mayweather began fighting at professionally. So we'll have to look at that. But nonetheless, the weight disparity of Mayweather and Ortiz as is was 14 pounds, which is quite a lot. We also have him when he faced Carlos Baldomir, a weight disparity of 13 pounds. When he faced Shambe Mitchell, he had a weight disparity of 7 pounds. And so on. I just want to mention that when he faced Marcos Maidana the first time, Marcos Maidana weighed 165 pounds and Mayweather weighed 148, a weight disparity of 17 pounds. Because we lack some information, for instance, against his fight against Oscar De La Hoya, what did Oscar De La Hoya come in at? We know for Canelo Alvarez came in 165, Mayweather came in 150. So, at the end of the day, these are some of the fights Mayweather faced his opponents with. But I want to show you something else. You'll notice that for the majority of Mayweather's fights, his opponent weighed more than him. Castillo weighed more than him. Corrales weighed more than him, significantly more than him, and so forth. Okay? Now, when Mayweather was at super featherweight, he basically averaged, for all of the super featherweight fights, 138 pounds. Okay? When he first started off with his fight at super featherweight, he weighed like 138, 137, 136, and so on. 139.5, 139, and so on. The end of his super featherweight career was when he faced Jose Luis Castillo, which was at lightweight. But you see that Floyd Mayweather basically averaged 138 pounds at super featherweight. So that's going to be our baseline. That's going to be our relative weight, because if Mayweather began as a super featherweight, and he was most effective as a super featherweight, think of Floyd Mayweather as a blown-up super featherweight. Yeah, he could never go back to being super featherweight, but like Manny Pacquiao, you can think of as a blown-up flyweight. So let's use Mayweather as that, because he's coming from 5 weight classes down. Now, comparing that and considering that, say for instance, he was facing a Canelo or a Marcos Maidana or a Victor Ortiz or Carlos Baldomir, all of them weighing over 160 pounds. What would have been his relative disadvantage in weight? To get the relative disadvantage in weight, what you do is you subtract the actual weight of the opponent from the weight of Floyd Mayweather, or whoever the guy is that you're trying to get the weight difference from. In this case, we're not going to go with the actual weight Floyd Mayweather weighed on the night. For instance, against Marcos Maidana, he weighed 148 pounds. No, we're going to weigh him as if he was a blown-up super featherweight, which means he was most effective at super featherweight, so we're going to use that weight. And the average weight that he was at super featherweight was 138 pounds. The difference in weight is 27 pounds. Now, we'll take that 27 pounds and divide it by 138 pounds to get his relative weight, or the percentage of his weight, which actually he was deficient of. His opponent was heavier than. So the percentage of his weight is roughly 20% of his weight the opponent had over him. 20% of his weight. Okay? That's significant. That is huge. Okay? So, Canelo Alvarez, Marcos Maidana, Victor Ortiz, Carlos Baldomir, they had between 18 to 20% of Floyd Mayweather's weight. They were greater than Floyd Mayweather. Now, when we look at Muhammad Ali, Buster Mathis outweighed Muhammad Ali by 256 minus 227 pounds. He outweighed him by 29 pounds. But when you look at it as a percentage, he basically outweighed Muhammad Ali by 13% of Muhammad Ali's weight, which is significant. Now let's look at early on in his career when he faced Duke Sabedon. Now Duke Sabedon weighed 225 pounds. And Muhammad Ali weighed 194.5 pounds. So Sabedon outweighed Muhammad Ali by roughly 16% of his body weight. So what makes this significant is the fact that because Floyd Mayweather came from 5 weight classes down to face whatever opponent he was, the greatest disparity in weight with Floyd Mayweather relative to Floyd Mayweather's weight compared to Muhammad Ali's disparity in weight relative to his weight is much bigger. Floyd Mayweather's weight disparity is much bigger, proportionally speaking, than Muhammad Ali's. If I were to say this in simple language, I'm saying that Floyd's opponent outweighed him by 20% of his body weight, whereas Muhammad Ali's opponents, the greatest difference in weight, outweighed him by 16% of his body weight. And both are humongous. But Floyd Mayweather gets the edge over Muhammad Ali in terms of that. And then, of course, we already know that Floyd Mayweather in his career, if you go through this, you'll see that his opponents, the majority of them outweighed him. Whereas in Muhammad Ali's career, the majority of opponents he outweighed. So I thought this is worth talking about. And then there's, of course, merit to going up in weight class, where people are not getting sluggish because they're heavier than you, but they actually can carry their body weight and they move more or less around about the same speed as you do, the same quickness as you do. They're just bigger and stronger. So I think that these are factors that Muhammad Ali didn't really have to face at heavyweight. Buster Mathis was slow as daylight. The other two opponents, they were big dudes, but they, again, didn't seem to really have the quickness and speed for Muhammad Ali. So usually the smaller fighters gave him problems. With Mayweather, these bigger opponents are equally as agile, as quick, strong. Victor Ortiz was very quick, very strong. You know, good speed, good movement. Oscar De La Hoya had good movement and good speed as well. Marcos Maidana wasn't as quick as either of those opponents, but he had good technique, good strategy, and he had, you know, relatively decent speed. Miguel Cotto had good speed, good balance, good control, good strategy. So I'm just saying that at the end of the day, Muhammad Ali actually fought bigger guys, yes, than himself. Not as regularly as Floyd did. But his advantage of speed really helped him through a lot of fights. You can't say that Floyd Mayweather only beat slow, sloppy, come-forward fighters like Ali did. Mayweather faced all kinds of boxers. Zab Judah was very quick. But even the guys who outweighed him by significant amounts, these guys were sometimes quick themselves. Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo Alvarez was quick. You know, Floyd was quicker. Miguel Cotto wasn't quick, but man, he knew how to get you into the corner. So at the end of the day, when we talk Floyd Mayweather, he does have some credence to what he's saying about moving up 5 weight classes. Even though my major credence is, what was the level of opposition you faced? Did you face somebody worth the while for us to talk about? And 2, did you beat them? I think that's the criteria I really look at it, not so much weight class. Anyway, on that note, you guys have a great one.